Hey folks, Justin from Tackle Tactics. This week's video is a continuation out on the water from last week's session. So you may have seen that video. It was called How to Fish Soft Plastics Combo Selection. And basically, Sean and I went out for a flick. I talked through my three main combos that I used, and then we went out and fished the heavier to the mid to the light as we moved up into shallower water. So once we finished that area that we fished from the deep to the shallow, we actually moved on and went and fished another area. So that footage I've kept for this week. The reason being that I was fishing a particular plastic that I love to fish. So I thought today I'd talk a bit more about how I rig and fish that plastic, how to look after it when you get home so you get the most out of it. And the reason being, and the reason why we've called this basically the never-ending slim swims, is because this little plastic is still going. So it has caught over 50 fish now and at least 8 species of fish as well. So it is chewed to pieces, and I'll give you some close-up looks at this because it really is just absolutely annihilated. But being that ZMan 10 times tough Elaztech plastic, it's still going, it's still kicking. But the thing with Elaztech is it's got three main characteristics that I really like. So yeah, it's 10 times tough, that's great, it's extremely durable, so it's still going. But the fact is it's also super soft and flexible. So even though this thing's chewed to pieces, or sometimes if you don't quite rig them straight and that sort of thing, because of that softness and that flexibility, they still have a great action in the water. They still maintain that beautiful swimming action. So that softness and flexibility of this plastic is as important as the fact that it's 10 times tough. And then also we've got the advantage of it being buoyant, so when it's on the bottom it stands up, and it also really comes to life in the water because of that buoyancy. So this little guy has caught a bunch of fish. Normally when I come home from fishing, what I try and do to look after my soft plastics and jig heads, and this would be, you know, it's worth doing because these plastics are so durable and you can get a lot of fish and a lot of sessions out of them. When we come home, a lot of us just leave them rigged on our rods, which is not so good for the rod or the plastic or the jig head. So when you come home, take your plastic and your jig head and separate them. What you can do, if you leave it rigged, you can get salt build up around the top of where the plastic sits, and that can weaken the jig head and cause corrosion. Next time you go out, your jig head could break here. So by getting our plastic away from our jig head, we're all good. Then we wash the two of these, so I just rinse them in fresh water, and then I allow them to dry, and our plastic goes back in the pack. And our jig head, I don't mix it with my other fresh new good jig heads. I've actually got a separate tray for used jig heads. So I put that used jig head in that tray, and then next time when I'm coming to rig up for a session, I go to my used jig heads first, and I pick some stuff out of there, make sure it's sharp, we're all good to go. And there's a stack of stuff in there, so there's enough jig heads in there to cover the bulk of my river and estuary type fishing that I do all the time. So I just keep that with me in the boat or the yak. So we've got our used jig head tray, we've got our plastic back in our pack, and we're ready to go for next time, so they're good. What I find myself often doing though, as a lot of you guys probably do, I come home and I either leave them rigged on the rods, or I do cut them off because I'm rigging for a different session, and then I'll hang them. I hang them on all sorts of things, all through the house, all around the shed, in the boat, kayak, whatever, is used plastics hanging or used plastics laying on things. And that's where this guy came from. I'd fished a couple of sessions with him, and then Sean invited me to go out for that session with him, so I went hunting, and I actually couldn't find a midnight oil coloured 2.5 inch slim swims, which is what I really wanted to fish on my mid-size rod. So I went hunting around and I found this guy on the floor of the shed, and he was already pretty crusty and knocked around and all that sort of thing, but you know, still looked like he was going to swim, so I tied it on. So it had already caught a bunch of fish. Then it caught the bunch of fish in last week's video, and then I'm going to show you some more footage at the end of this video of the remainder of that session where this little guy went on and caught another bunch of species. So definitely check that out, and also if you want to, I'll put the link at the end for last week's video about the combo fishing so that you can check that out as well. So this of course is the 2.5 inch slim swims. It is one of my favourite presentations to fish, and it catches a stack of different species, punches well above its weight, and it just represents that perfect little bait fish profile. So generally when I'm fishing it, I'll fish it on a a 2 to 4 kilo combo generally, just a good all-rounder. So this is a TT Rods Black Mamba 2 to 4 kilo. I'll fish a small spinning reel, like a 20, 25, 30 size reel. This is an Epixor XT20. Braid wise, I'm fishing 8 pound or 10 pound generally. And this is Platypus X8, so it's an 8 carrier braid, really super slick, throws a very long cast. And that's a great little combo just for working the setup that I normally use. So you'll normally see me fishing this 2.5 inch slim swims on a DemonZ jig head, which is a TT Lures painted jig head with 3D eyes, which I just think makes it look a little bit more natural, really gives, it looks great in the water with those eyes and that painted head matching the plastic. So I'll often go for a green head or a golden boy color in the head. And then the slim swims, and a quarter 1/0. I normally fish it on a 1/4 ounce 1/0. So, you know, 1/0 is a good size in here because a brim, you still catch a brim, no worries, but you'll catch still, you know, pin flathead and handle quite good fish on this 1/0 hook. And that's a heavy wire Gamakatsu hook. So it's a very sticky, pointy hook, but it's also quite a strong hook as well. So that's a 1/4 ounce in a 1/0. You may want to drop down in weight. And I also do fish it on a Headlocks Finesse or a Headlocks HD, again in that sort of 1 to 1/0 sort of size, and weights down to about 1/8 when I'm rolling the flats and that sort of thing. But 1/4 1/0 is deadly on a lot of different fish, and you can kind of fish it from almost no water with the rod tip up, dropping it down as you get down into deep water and slowing your retrieve to get it down into a couple of meters of water as well. So that's our 2.5 inch slim swims on a 1/4 ounce 1/0 DemonZ. Leader wise, I generally fish 10 pound Platypus Stealth FC Fluorocarbon, and I normally just do an arm's stretch length like that, or sort of a rod length of leader is good. And then as I lose leader during the day, chopping bits off where flathead have chewed my leader or anything like that, I'll generally fish it still down to about, I've actually got a really short leader on here now, but I'll fish it down to about 50, 60 centimeters of leader, and then I'll redo the leader again with that 10 pound. 10 pound's a good one for me in the estuaries. You know, you might need to go lighter if you're in really clean crystal water, or you may need to go heavier if you're fishing oyster racks and that sort of thing. But 10 pound's a good all-rounder where you can still catch a flatty and that sort of thing as well, and not get chewed off too easily. And then I always scent up my soft plastics as well with ProCure Super Gel scent. So I tend to put sardine pilchard on the 2.5 inch slim swims when I'm fishing it, but I'll also often put mullet on it as well. Just that bait fish scent with that bait fish profile. So there we go. There is our never-ending slim swims. I don't want to rip on him too hard now. There's not much, there's only a millimeter of plastic left on that tail there, but it's all chewed out. It's just annihilated. So some tricks that people use with their plastic when it is really well chewed as well is if it's sliding down or it's not sitting really well, just thread it off and try and go again through some fresh flesh. So if you've got an area where it's a bit chewed up, try and find the good sections that are left and feed onto those good sections, those solid sections of plastic. And it might only need, you know, you might only need a tiny bit of extra grip from a bit of fresh plastic to get it to hold on there. You can just keep doing that over and over again. And then I've even heard of guys that where it's been chewed to the point that they actually turn it upside down and fish it upside down as well to get them out of trouble. You know, if the fish are eating that particular color, you want to keep fishing it, do whatever you got to do. Turn the plastic upside down, you know, whatever you've got to do to try and get a bit more flesh on there. Larger hook, smaller hook, whatever you've got to do to hold it in place. But our little deadly never-ending slim swims are still going. So stay tuned. I'm going to go and have another session with it and see if I can catch more fish on this and just see how many fish we can get out of this little guy. In the meantime, kick back. I hope you enjoyed the remainder of the session that Sean and I had recently, where we're still fishing this little 2.5 inch slimmy and he's still catching fish. All the best with the fishing. Get out there, get stuck into a few. Cheers. There we go. What are you? You're angry. You're a giant pike. You don't want him?
Yeah,
throw him in. Yep. Yeah. He's another good bait, mate. Like Spaniards, eh? Holy Spaniard food.
Hopefully. That's what we're going to try and convert them into.
Yeah. Smelling food. Man, this have a look at this dude.
Oh.
He's like annihilated. Well, the fish keep eating him, so I'll keep throwing him. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Up on the edge, up on that weed edge. It's got a fair bit of stick to it. Swamp monster. Swamp monster.
I'm thinking that's what we're after.
Yeah, there's a swamp monster.
There we go.
Just flick that slim swim up on the edge there. Working down that drop off into a couple of meters.
I've got some teeth marks in my net, mate.
I don't know what this is, but it's got a bit of weight to it.
Big bloody
Stingray? Don't bite me off, fish.
Which way?
It's going over here. It's going wherever it wants.
Well, you are on the light outfit as well. It's good. Oh yeah.
Stingray jagged in the head. We've jagged a couple of them today.
We have done some mad jags. Well, mostly just me.
Yeah.
That looks too head shaky.
It's just where it's hooked. It's sucking onto the bottom. Come on, buddy.
Do you reckon you've caught the Raymond?
Yeah, I think it could be. What a unit. Don't bust in there.
Can you just hold that for a sec?
Can you get it?
Yeah, well.
What a unit.
I'll let you sort him out.
Holy crap. I don't want to sort him out.
Well, you just need to get your lure out of him.
He can have it.
See you later, mate.
What a tank.
See you, buddy. Nice work.
Knotweed. We'll call that knotweed.
Battery died.
As the battery died, got nailed by the knotweed.
Got nailed by the knotweed. Yes. Happy days.
Good job. Flatfish?
Yep.
Oh, nice flatfish. Oh, bitten off?
Done. Risk it for the biscuit?
Yeah, get rid of that leader.
Oh, it's only 8 pounds.
Get that 10 pounder. I'm stuck on midnight oil.
You must have scoffed that.
Oh,
There it is.
oh, there it is. That was a solid take.
See if he's got a flingy in it, will he?
Yeah.
Do you need the net, mate? It's looking like you might.
I can lift him. Doesn't matter if he falls off. He's going back anyway. But he'd be another legally probably. Oh, come here, buddy. Yep, he'd be close to legal if he's not legal.
I'll just sling you down there.
No, hooked in the top of the mouth. He took that pretty funny actually. Ah, he spiked me.
Put him in the esky.
Watch those spikes, people. Handle with care. Settle down, buddy. You're all right.
I always forget whether I'm recording or not.
Yeah.
I had a couple of those. I'm like, yeah, I'm recording. I'm like, oh, I'm not recording.
He actually fought really well for his size.
Yeah, I think there must be a bit of an undulation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just gonna do this cast, see if I can get my lure back. What's he doing?
1.5. Oh, he ate that on the drop. Yeah. Only just cast that back out and he ate it on the drop. It's a bit wild. I was too busy just looking down at the sounder, just chilling, and this little dude ate it. Rocket. Yeah, where's the big female sitting with them?
Yeah.
Hooked in the roof of the mouth, same spot. Let's not get spiked. Here, buddy. This poor Slim Swims just keeps on giving. Oh, look at that thing. Just
Yeah,
keep,
I've
just
put new ones on and lost all of them.
it just keeps on giving, this thing. I don't know how many fish it's caught, but it's still swimming.
Swim.
Yeah, some nice looking edge over there. It's funny, hey, it's like kind of got some really cool shape to it. 3 and 3 casts. Look out.
The trifecta.
They're getting smaller. I better not catch any more.
Be nothing when you
Be a keyring. That fella, you're a tiny little fella, aren't you? See you, buddy. Oh, there's a take. Oh yeah, nice take on the drop. Oh, what are you? Oh, other than really, really angry.
That's my fish. There'll be a baby bass slimmy in
Wonder if that's not a flatty. I wonder if that's a grunter or something. Oh, it's solid, eh? That was a really good take and an awesome run. Oh, come on, Tank. Where are you? Oh, dude, what are you? Are you silver or are you a flat? You're silver. Trev, maybe. Stingray?
Something silver. something we want to see.
Something silver. Dewey?
Dewey.
Dewey! Woo!
Happy days.
That's awesome. That is so cool. So cool. Stoked. Oh, stoked, mate. I need some knuckles.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Flicked up in the shallow.
Hey.
Flicked into the mouth of a drain for a flatfish. And have a look at that guy. That's a beautiful jewfish. Man, what a fish. That's so nice.
Yep, no, that's okay. I'll keep an eye on them.
That is brilliant.
Alright.
Yeah, I just want to handle you with care.
Alright.
I don't want to knock you down.
Oh yeah.
Alright, let's get this fella back in the water. That is awesome. Pinned beautifully on that little demon's head.
Just get him off me rods.
Sorry, mate.
No, it's all good.
Get him back in the drink. There you go, buddy. He's away. That's awesome.
Well, dude.
Gives you the ability to duck around the headland.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oi.
hey!
That was
That was a funny take, eh?
Yep. Just same as they've been all day, just weird takes. You got a baby bass in there, mate? Just checking. No.
At least he hasn't swallowed that one.
Right.
Still a bit of activity.
Yeah, I reckon we'll give it 5 minutes and then go, man. That'll be near enough to 12.
Yep, that's cool.
That's 11:30 and then
Yeah, cool, mate.
home by 12.
Yep.